Alien Girl was blinded and spayed for her sins, but after 15 years, her sight returns thanks to, in the remote reaches of the Vega Nebula, where twin asteroids circled each other in an eternal dance, stood the Monastery of Shadows. The ancient stone structure, carved into the larger asteroid's face, was a place where the unwanted were sent to be forgotten. Its weathered walls had witnessed countless tears, but none as bitter as those of Syria. 15 years had passed since they'd brought her here. 15 years since they'd taken her sight with hot coals and mutilated her body to ensure she would never bear children. All for the crime of loving someone not chosen by her clan. Syria's deep blue skin had grown pale in the monastery's perpetual twilight. Her once lustrous silver hair now hung in short, dull strands around her delicate face. The rough sackcloth robe she wore scratched against her skin as she knelt in the prayer chamber, the blindfold that marked her shame tight against her empty eye sockets. "Sister Syria," called the harsh voice of Elder Krell, "you have a visitor." Syria's head lifted slightly, confusion evident in her posture. No one had visited her in 15 years. Not her family, not her former lover, not a single soul from her past life. "A visitor?" she asked, her voice raspy from disuse. "A human," Elder Krell said with undisguised disdain, "claims his ship broke down nearby. He's requesting shelter while he repairs it." Humans were rare in this sector. The Vega Nebula was primarily inhabited by her people, the Azuri, with their blue skin and silver hair. Humans were viewed with suspicion, unpredictable, emotional creatures with strange customs and dangerous ideas. "Why tell me?" Syria asked. "Because you speak their language," Elder Krell replied, "and because you're to show him to the visitor's quarters and attend to his needs while he's here. Consider it part of your penance." Syria rose to her feet, using her walking stick to navigate the familiar path to the monastery entrance. The cool stone beneath her bare feet guided her as surely as sight once had. 15 years of blindness had honed her other senses to extraordinary levels. At the entrance, she could sense a presence, tall, warm, and smelling of metal, and something she couldn't quite place. Engine oil, perhaps. "Hello," came a deep, resonant voice. "I'm Alex Green. Thank you for the hospitality." His accent was strange, marking him as from the outer colonies. There was something else in his voice, too, a warmth that had become foreign to her after years of cold indifference from the monastery elders. "I am Sister Syria," she replied formally. "I will show you to your quarters." As she turned to lead him, she heard a sharp intake of breath. "Your eyes," he said softly. Syria stiffened. "They were taken as punishment for my sins. It is not a subject for discussion." She expected disgust or pity. What she didn't expect was the gentle touch on her arm and the quiet fury in his voice when he spoke. "That's barbaric." The word hung between them, dangerous and forbidden. No one had ever called her punishment barbaric before. It was justice, they'd told her, the price for defying her clan's traditions. "Please follow me," she said, ignoring his comment. "The visitors' quarters are this way." As they walked through the stone corridors, Alex's footsteps echoed heavily. He was carrying something weighty, tools, she guessed, from the metallic clanking. "What kind of ship do you pilot?" she asked, attempting conversation to distract from the uncomfortable moment. "Modified Terran Corsair," he replied. "Military surplus. I was a fleet engineer before I went independent." Military. That explained his direct manner and the disciplined way he moved. Humans had a reputation as formidable warriors, their short lives burning with an intensity her long-lived species often found both frightening and fascinating. "The stabilizers blew when I was passing through the nebula," he continued. "Lucky this place was nearby." When they reached the visitors' quarters, Syria paused at the threshold. "Meals are served in the common hall at dawn and dusk. If you need anything else, you may ask for me." "Thank you, Syria," he said, her name sounding different in his mouth. Not a designation of shame, but something worthy of respect. As she turned to leave, he spoke again. "How long have you been blind?" The question froze her in place. No one asked about her punishment. It was taboo. 15 years, she answered before she could stop herself. "And they've never considered giving you artificial eyes?" "The technology exists." Syria gave a bitter laugh. "Such technology costs more than I will see in several lifetimes. Besides, my blindness is meant to be permanent, a reminder of my sin. What sin could possibly justify this? The anger in his voice was barely contained. I loved someone I wasn't supposed to love, she said simply. My clan had arranged a marriage to elevate our family's status. I refused. The silence that followed was heavy with unspoken thoughts. Finally, Alex spoke, his voice gentle but determined. That's no sin, Syria, and no one deserves what was done to you. She didn't know how to respond to such heresy. These were dangerous thoughts, the kind that had led to her downfall in the first place. I must go, she said abruptly. Elder Krell will be looking for me. As she hurried away, her stick tapping against the stone floor, she couldn't shake the feeling that something fundamental had shifted in her world. For 15 years, she had accepted her fate, believed in her sin. Now a stranger's words had planted a dangerous seed of doubt. And somewhere deep inside, in a place she'd thought long dead, Syria felt the faintest flicker of hope. Over the next few days, Syria found herself drawn to the humans' quarters more frequently than her duties required. Alex's presence was like a warm sun after endless night, both comforting and dangerous in its intensity. You're early today, Alex noted as she entered with his morning meal. The scent of metal and electricity filled the air. He was working on something. What are you doing? Syria asked, setting down the tray. It doesn't sound like ship repairs. Alex paused, tools clinking as he set them down. I'm working on a side project. Come here. Syria hesitated, then moved closer, her walking stick tapping lightly against the stone floor. His calloused hand gently took hers, guiding it to touch something small and metallic. What is this? She asked, fingers exploring the intricate object. The beginning of something important, he replied, his voice low and intimate in a way that sent an unfamiliar shiver through her. Syria, what if I told you I could give you back your sight? Her hand jerked away as if burned. That's impossible. The cost? I was one of the best engineers in the Terran fleet, he interrupted. I've built ocular implants before, for wounded soldiers. Not as fancy as the gold-plated ones they sell in the core systems, but functional. Syria's heart hammered in her chest. Why would you do this for me? You don't even know me. She felt him move closer, his warmth radiating against her skin. Maybe I want to know you. The real you, not just the penitent the monastery created. His words were dangerous, awakening feelings she'd thought long dead. No one had spoken to her as a woman, as a person with desires and dreams, since before her punishment. The elders would never allow it, she whispered. The elders don't need to know, Alex replied, a smile evident in his voice. Not until it's done. Syria's fingers trembled as they reached up to touch her blindfold. Even if you could restore my sight, it wouldn't change what I am. What was taken from me? Alex's hand covered hers, warm and strong. No, it wouldn't. But it would give you a choice about your future. Everyone deserves that much. Something in his touch and the gentle way he held her hand broke through walls she'd built over 15 years of isolation. Syria found herself leaning toward him, drawn by an instinct she'd nearly forgotten. What would you need from me? She asked softly. Time, access to this room without the elder's knowledge, and, he hesitated, I'd need to examine your eye sockets to make sure the implants will fit properly. The request should have horrified her. No one had seen her without her blindfold since the day of her punishment. Yet instead of revulsion, she felt a strange anticipation. When? She asked, her voice barely audible. Now, if you're willing. With trembling fingers, Syria reached behind her head to untie the blindfold. The cloth fell away, exposing the scarred hollows where her eyes had once been. She heard Alex's sharp intake of breath, but no words of disgust or pity. Instead, his fingers gently traced the edges of the scars, clinical yet somehow intimate. They did a thorough job, he said, voice tight with controlled anger, but there's enough nerve tissue left. I can work with this. His touch lingered longer than necessary, moving from her temples to her cheek in a caress that had nothing to do with medical examination. Syria found herself leaning into his hand, starved for gentle contact after years of isolation. Your skin is beautiful, he murmured, like twilight over Earth's oceans. I've never seen Earth's oceans, she whispered. Maybe someday you will, he replied, his breath warm against her face. The moment stretched between them, taut with unspoken possibilities. Syria felt herself swaying toward him, drawn by a gravity she couldn't explain. Their lips met hesitantly at first, then with growing hunger. His arms encircled her, strong and secure, as if he could protect her from the universe itself. Syria's hands found their way to his shoulders, feeling the powerful muscles beneath his shirt. When they finally broke apart, both breathing heavily, Syria felt dizzy with forbidden pleasure. "I shouldn't have done that," she whispered, though she made no move to pull away. "Do you regret it?" Alex asked, his hands still resting at her waist. "No," she admitted, "but this is dangerous. If the elders found out—" "They won't," he promised, pressing his forehead against hers. "Syria, I know we've only just met, but there's something between us. Something real." She nodded, unable to deny the connection that had formed so quickly between them. "How long will the eyes take?" "A week, maybe less. I salvaged some components from my ship that should work perfectly." Syria's hand found his face, tracing the strong jawline, the slight stubble, creating a mental image of the man who had awakened her from 15 years of living death. "I should go," she said reluctantly. "The morning prayer will begin soon, and Elder Krell will notice my absence." Alex caught her hand, pressing a kiss to her palm that sent warmth spiraling through her body. "Come back tonight. I'll have more progress to show you." As Syria retied her blindfold and made her way back through the familiar corridors, her mind raced with dangerous thoughts. For 15 years, she had accepted her punishment as just, her isolation as deserved. Now, in just a few days, a human stranger had made her question everything, and more dangerous still, he had made her hope again. "Sister Syria, you seem distracted during prayers." Elder Krell's voice cut through Syria's thoughts like a blade. "Your mind wanders elsewhere." Syria bowed her head, grateful for the blindfold that hid her expression. "Forgiveness, Elder. I am merely tired." The Elder's footsteps circled her kneeling form. "You've been spending considerable time with the human. Perhaps too much time." Syria's heart quickened. "I am only fulfilling my duties as assigned. From now on, Brother Tarn will accompany you when you attend to the human's needs," Elder Krell declared, "to ensure proper protocols are maintained." Syria's stomach dropped. Brother Tarn was Elder Krell's most devoted follower, a humorless Azuri male who found fault in everything. "As you wish, Elder," she murmured, keeping her voice steady despite her panic. That evening, Syria approached Alex's quarters with Brother Tarn shadowing her every step. She knocked, balancing a tray of food. "Enter," Alex called. When they stepped inside, Syria sensed Alex's surprise at her companion. "I've brought your evening meal," she said formally. "This is Brother Tarn. He will be assisting me with your needs from now on." "I see." Alex's voice was carefully neutral. "Thank you, Sister Syria. Brother Tarn remained by the door as Syria set down the tray. As she arranged the dishes, she discreetly slipped a small package from her sleeve, medical supplies she'd stolen from the monastery's infirmary. "Your ship repairs progress well?" Brother Tarn asked suspiciously. "Slowly but surely," Alex replied. "The stabilizer coupling was more damaged than I initially thought." Syria felt Alex's hand brush against hers as she passed him a cup, taking the hidden package in one smooth motion. "Sister Syria, we must not linger," Brother Tarn said sharply. "Evening meditation begins soon." "Of course, brother," she replied, reluctantly turning to leave. As they walked away, Syria's mind raced. How would she continue helping Alex? How would they complete the eyes with Tarn watching her every move? Later that night, after the monastery had fallen silent, Syria crept from her sparse cell. Years of blindness had made her expert at moving silently through the dark corridors. She knew every stone, every creak in the ancient structure. She paused at a junction, listening for any movement. Hearing nothing, she continued toward Alex's quarters, her heart pounding with both fear and anticipation. A hand suddenly gripped her arm, and Syria nearly cried out before another hand covered her mouth. "It's me," Alex whispered, his breath warm against her ear. "I was coming to find you." Relief flooded through her as he guided her into a small alcove. "We can't meet in your quarters anymore," she whispered. "Tarn will report everything to Elder Krell." "I know a place," Alex replied. "I've been exploring while working on the ship. There's an old storage room in the east wing. No one goes there." He led her through the darkened monastery, his hand warm and secure around hers. Syria followed trustingly, realizing how completely her world had changed in just a few days. From resigned acceptance to dangerous hope, all because of this human. The storage room was dusty and forgotten, but Alex had prepared it, clearing a space, bringing tools and a small light that cast a soft glow. "I've made progress," he said, guiding her to sit on a crate. "The basic structure is complete. I just need to finish the neural interface." His fingers gently removed her blindfold, and Syria felt the now familiar touch of his hands examining her eye sockets. "The medical supplies you brought are perfect," he murmured. "How did you get them?" "I know where everything is kept," she replied. 15 years of listening teaches you many things." Alex's hands paused in their work. "Tell me about before, about the man they punished you for loving." Syria stiffened, then slowly relaxed. "Naren was kind. Different from the others. He questioned our traditions, our hierarchies. My parents had arranged for me to marry a high-ranking official, a cruel man 3 times my age. Naren and I planned to escape together." "What happened?" Alex asked softly. "We were betrayed." "My own sister," Syria's voice caught. "She told our father. They caught us the night we planned to leave. Naren was executed. I was made an example." Alex's hands cupped her face, his thumbs gently wiping away tears she hadn't realized were falling. "I'm so sorry, Syria." "What about you?" she asked, needing to shift away from her painful memories. "Why is a former military engineer wandering alone in this remote sector?" His hands returned to working on the delicate components. "I left the fleet after the Centauri campaign. Couldn't stomach what we were ordered to do to civilian populations. Been drifting ever since, taking odd jobs, fixing things." "Is that why you're helping me?" "I'm just another broken thing to fix." Alex set down his tools, taking her hands in his. "No! You're not broken, Syria. You never were." The intensity in his voice made her breath catch. She leaned forward, finding his lips with unerring accuracy. Their kiss deepened, hands exploring with growing urgency. The monastery, Elder Krell, Brother Tarn, all faded away as they surrendered to the connection between them. Later, as they lay together on the makeshift bed Alex had created, Syria traced the contours of his face, memorizing every detail. "I want to see you," she whispered. "When the eyes are finished, yours will be the first face I see." "They're almost ready," he promised. "But there's something else. The components I'm using, they're military grade. They'll give you more than normal vision." "What do you mean?" "You'll be able to see energy patterns, electromagnetic fields. It was designed for soldiers to detect cloaked enemies, but..." He hesitated. "But what?" "I've been noticing strange energy readings in the monastery, especially around the central chamber where the elders meet. Something's not right here, Syria." She frowned. "The central chamber is forbidden to all but the highest elders. No one knows what they do there." "Well, soon you might be able to see what they're hiding," Alex said. "But we need to be careful. If they discover what we're doing..." "They won't," Syria promised, pressing closer to him. "I've survived 15 years in darkness. I can manage a few more days." As they held each other in the silent darkness, Syria felt truly alive for the first time since her punishment. Whatever secrets the monastery held, whatever dangers lay ahead, she would face them, with new eyes and the strength of the remarkable human who had awakened her heart. "They're ready," Alex whispered, his voice a mixture of pride and nervousness. Syria sat on a crate in their secret meeting place, heart hammering against her ribs. After 5 nights of clandestine work, stolen supplies, and increasingly dangerous evasions of Brother Tarn's watchful eye, the moment had arrived. "Are you sure?" she asked, her fingers fidgeting with the hem of her robe. "As sure as I can be without proper testing equipment," Alex replied. He took her hands in his, stilling their nervous movement. "Syria, I need you to understand something. These aren't standard civilian implants. The military components might show you things differently than natural vision." "You mentioned energy patterns," she said. "Yes, but it's more than that. Colors might appear more vivid, movement might leave traces, and there's no way to know how your brain will interpret the signals after 15 years of blindness." Syria squeezed his hands. "I trust you, Alex." The words hung between them, heavy with meaning. In the weeks since they'd met, this human had become her world, her confidant, her lover, her hope. Their nights together in this forgotten room had awakened feelings she'd thought forever lost, each touch healing wounds deeper than her physical scars. "This will hurt," he warned, arranging his tools beside her. "I can't give you proper anesthesia." "Pain and I are old friends," she replied with a wry smile. "Besides, I have something better than anesthesia." "What's that?" She reached for him, pulling him close for a deep kiss. "Distraction." Alex laughed softly against her lips. "If that's your painkiller, I might need to reconsider my approach." The procedure took nearly 2 hours. Syria bit down on a strip of leather to keep from crying out as Alex carefully connected the bionic implants to her remaining nerve endings. His hands were steady, his focus absolute, but she could feel his anguish at causing her pain. "Almost done," he murmured, making the final adjustments. "The neural interface is connecting. Your brain will need time to process the new signals." When he finally sat back, Syria felt strange, a pressure behind her eye sockets, a tingling sensation that spread across her face. "Don't try to open them yet," Alex cautioned. "Let the interface calibrate." Syria nodded, focusing on her breathing as Alex cleaned up his tools. The tingling intensified, becoming almost uncomfortable before gradually subsiding. "How long?" she asked. "A few more minutes." His hand stroked her hair gently. "Are you in pain?" "Not anymore," she said truthfully. The discomfort had faded, replaced by a strange awareness of the space where emptiness had been for so long. Alex moved around the room, adjusting the lighting. "I've dimmed it as much as possible. Your visual cortex will be hypersensitive at first." Finally, he knelt before her, taking her hands again. "Ready?" Syria nodded, suddenly terrified. What if it didn't work? What if, after all this hope, she remained in darkness? "Open your eyes slowly," Alex instructed. "Just a little at first." Syria took a deep breath and tried to remember how to control eyelids she hadn't used in 15 years. The muscles felt alien, stiff from disuse. Gradually, she felt movement, a sensation of something opening. Light flooded in, blinding, overwhelming. She gasped, instinctively trying to close her new eyes again. "Easy," Alex soothed. "Give it a moment. Your brain is remembering how to process visual information." Slowly, the painful brightness resolved into shapes, blurry, undefined patches of light and shadow. Syria blinked, each movement becoming more natural as her brain relearned the forgotten skill. "I see something," she whispered, awe in her voice. "Shapes. Light. Focus on one thing," Alex suggested. "Don't try to see everything at once." Syria concentrated on the brightest shape before her. Alex's face. Gradually, details emerged. The strong line of his jaw, the concern in his eyes, the small scar above his right eyebrow. Tears streamed down her cheeks as his features became clear. "I see you," she breathed, reaching out to touch his face, comparing the tactile memory with the visual reality. "You're more handsome than I imagined." Alex's eyes glistened with unshed tears as he smiled. "And you're more beautiful than you know." Syria looked down at her blue hands, seeing their color for the first time in 15 years. She touched her face, her silver hair, reacquainting herself with her own appearance. Then she noticed something strange, a faint blue glow emanating from Alex's chest, pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. "I can see energy," she said in wonder. "Just like you said. Your heart, it's glowing." Alex nodded. "The military enhancement. It lets you see life energy, electromagnetic fields." Syria looked around the room, seeing it properly for the first time. The walls were rough-hewn stone, the floor dusty. Alex's tools gleamed in the dim light. But more fascinating were the faint energy traces that lingered in the air. The paths they had walked, the places they had touched, all leaving subtle luminescent trails. "It's beautiful," she whispered. Then she noticed something else, a pulsing red glow seeping through the wall in the direction of the monastery's central chamber. "Alex," she said, pointing. "What is that?" He followed her gaze, frowning. "I can't see it." "What do you see?" "Red energy, pulsing, coming from the central chamber." She stood, drawn to the strange glow. "It feels wrong." Alex caught her arm. "We should be careful. Your eyes need time to adjust." and we don't know what the elders are doing in there. But Syria couldn't look away from the ominous red light. Now that she could see it, other patterns became visible. Thin tendrils of the same energy stretching throughout the monastery, connecting to the sleeping quarters. "It's everywhere," she said, horrified. "The red energy, it's flowing into the monks' rooms, into their bodies while they sleep." Alex's expression darkened. "I knew something was off about this place. The readings I was getting, Syria, I think the elders are harvesting something from the monks." Syria turned back to him, her new eyes wide with realization. "Not harvesting, controlling." She touched her temple. "All these years, I thought my acceptance of my punishment was spiritual growth. What if it was this energy making me compliant?" The implications were staggering. Had her entire penance been a lie? Had she spent 15 years in darkness, not because she deserved punishment, but because something wanted her docile? "We need to find out what's in that chamber," she said with newfound determination. Alex nodded, his jaw set. "Tonight, when the monastery's asleep." As they prepared to return to their respective quarters before being missed, Syria paused to look at Alex one more time, drinking in the sight of him. "Thank you," she whispered, "not just for my eyes, but for helping me see the truth." He pulled her close, his lips finding hers in a kiss that promised more than words could express. In that moment, Syria knew that whatever they discovered in the central chamber, her future had irrevocably changed. The darkness was behind her now, both the physical blindness and the spiritual prison she had accepted for so long, and she would never go back. Syria moved through the monastery corridors with newfound confidence. After years of navigating by touch and sound, seeing the world again was intoxicating. The stone walls, the flickering torches, the subtle patterns in the ceiling, all of it fascinated her newly awakened senses. But she had to be careful. She still wore her blindfold over her bionic eyes when around others, maintaining the pretense of blindness while secretly observing everything. The red energy tendrils were everywhere, pulsing from the central chamber throughout the monastery. As she rounded a corner toward her cell, a figure stepped into her path. "Sister Syria," Brother Tarn's voice dripped with suspicion. "You missed evening meditation." Syria kept her head bowed, grateful for the blindfold hiding her new eyes. "Forgiveness, brother. I was unwell and needed rest." "Unwell?" He stepped closer, invading her space. "Or perhaps meeting with the human again?" Syria's heart raced, but she kept her expression neutral. "I don't know what you mean. You think the elders don't notice your absences? Your distraction?" His hand shot out, gripping her arm painfully. "Remove your blindfold." "What?" Syria stepped back, but his grip tightened. "Remove it. Now." Syria's mind raced. If she refused, he would force it off. If she complied, he would see her bionic eyes. Either way, she was caught. "Very well," she said, reaching up slowly. As her fingers touched the cloth, she noticed something through her covered eyes. The red energy wasn't just flowing into Brother Tarn. It was concentrated in him, pulsing through his body like a network of veins. He was more heavily influenced than the others. With a swift movement, she yanked off the blindfold and opened her eyes fully, staring directly at him. Brother Tarn gasped, stumbling backward. "What abomination is this? Your eyes are open for the first time in 15 years, Syria finished, advancing on him. "And I can see what you truly are, Brother Tarn. A puppet." His face contorted with rage. "Heresy! The elders will have you punished for this." He turned to run, but Syria was faster. Years of navigating blindly had made her surprisingly agile. She caught his robe, spinning him around. "I've been punished enough," she hissed. Brother Tarn's fist swung toward her face. Syria ducked, the movement coming naturally as her enhanced vision tracked his energy patterns, predicting his attack before it came. She countered with a swift strike to his solar plexus, sending him gasping to his knees. "How?" he wheezed. 15 years of listening to footsteps teaches you where to hit," she replied, though in truth her new eyes were guiding her, highlighting vulnerabilities in his energy field. Brother Tarn lunged again, but Syria sidestepped, using his momentum to slam him against the wall. His head hit the stone with a dull thud, and he slumped unconscious to the floor. Syria stood over him, breathing hard, shocked at what she'd done. She'd never fought anyone before, yet her body had moved with unexpected precision. Syria! Alex's urgent whisper came from behind her. He rushed forward, taking in the scene. What happened? He saw my eyes, she explained quickly. He was going to alert the elders. Alex checked Brother Tarn's pulse. He's alive, just knocked out. We need to move quickly. The central chamber. We can't leave him here, Syria interrupted. He'll wake up and sound the alarm. Alex nodded grimly. Help me get him into that storage closet. Together, they dragged Brother Tarn's unconscious form into a small closet, securing the door with a wooden beam. That won't hold him forever, Alex warned. It doesn't need to, Syria replied. Just long enough for us to see what's in that chamber. They moved swiftly through the darkened monastery, Syria leading the way. Her enhanced vision revealed not just the physical world, but the energy patterns flowing through the walls. The red tendrils grew thicker as they approached the central chamber, pulsing with malevolent purpose. There, she whispered, pointing to a heavy wooden door. That's where it's coming from. Alex examined the door. Locked. I can pick it, but it'll take time. Syria placed her hand on the ancient wood, feeling the vibrations of whatever lay beyond. There's something alive in there, Alex. Something old and hungry. As Alex worked on the lock, Syria kept watch, her enhanced vision scanning for any movement. The monastery was eerily quiet, the monks in their drug-like sleep, controlled by the red energy. Got it, Alex whispered as the lock clicked open. The door swung inward, revealing a circular chamber bathed in crimson light. In the center floated a massive crystalline structure, pulsing with the same red energy Syria had seen throughout the monastery. Surrounding it were Elder Krell and the other high elders, their arms raised in what appeared to be worship. By all the stars, Alex breathed. What is that thing? Syria's enhanced vision revealed the true horror. The crystal wasn't just an object, it was a prison. Inside, a writhing entity of pure energy struggled against its confinement, tendrils of its essence leaking out to be channeled by the elders. They're using it, she whispered, feeding off its power and using it to control the monks. Elder Krell's head snapped up, her ancient eyes fixing on the doorway. Intruders! She hissed, her voice unnaturally resonant. The other elders turned, their eyes glowing with the same red energy that filled the chamber. Syria! Elder Krell's face twisted in rage. You see? Impossible! Nothing is impossible for humans, Alex said, stepping protectively in front of Syria. What have you done to these people? Elder Krell laughed, the sound echoing strangely. Done? We have given them purpose, structure, order, as we have for centuries. You've enslaved them, Syria countered. Use this thing to control their minds. The Luminoth is a gift, Elder Krell snarled. It gives us power beyond your comprehension. The crystal pulsed brighter, and Syria could see the entity inside becoming more agitated. Through her enhanced vision, she could see something the elders couldn't. The prison was failing. Cracks spread across its surface, invisible to normal sight, but clear to her bionic eyes. Alex, she whispered urgently, that crystal is breaking. Whatever's inside is getting out. Alex's hand found hers, squeezing tightly. We need to leave. Now. But it was too late. Elder Krell raised her hands and the red energy surged toward them like a tidal wave. You will join us in communion, the elder intoned, or you will die. Syria stepped forward, her new eyes blazing with blue light as they automatically adjusted to counter the energy attack. No more, she said firmly. No more control. No more punishment for imagined sins. The red energy wavered as it met the blue glow from Syria's eyes, creating a purple interface between them. Elder Krell's expression shifted from confidence to confusion. What are you? She demanded. Syria felt Alex's hand on her shoulder, his strength flowing into her. In that moment, she knew what they had to do. I'm what happens when humanity's ingenuity meets Azuri resilience, she answered, and we're leaving this place. All of us. The standoff had begun, and Syria knew their next move would determine not just their fate, but that of every monk trapped in the monastery's web of control. You were always the one, Elder Krell hissed, her ancient face contorting with rage. The prophecy spoke of an Azuri with stars for eyes who would bring our downfall. Syria stood her ground, the blue glow from her bionic eyes intensifying. What prophecy? Why do you think we chose such a specific punishment for you? Elder Krell's laugh was hollow. Your defiance of tradition was convenient. It gave us reason to blind you before you could become what was foretold. Alex stepped forward. You mutilated her because of some superstition? Not superstition, Elder Krell snarled. The Luminoth showed us visions. An Azuri female with mechanical eyes would free it from its prison and end our reign. We couldn't kill you. That would have triggered the prophecy's failsafe. So we blinded you and ensured you could never have children to carry on your lineage. Syria felt a cold realization wash over her. My punishment wasn't justice, it was fear. Behind the elders, the crystal prison pulsed violently, cracks spreading across its surface like lightning. Syria's enhanced vision showed the entity inside thrashing with increasing strength. Alex, she whispered urgently, it's breaking free. As if on cue, a deafening crack echoed through the chamber. The crystal split down the middle, releasing a blinding flash of energy that knocked everyone to the ground. Syria's bionic eyes automatically adjusted, protecting her vision while allowing her to see what happened next. The Luminoth emerged, not a monster, but a being of pure light, its form constantly shifting between shapes. It hovered above the broken crystal, tendrils of energy reaching outward. Elder Krell scrambled to her feet. Contain it, she screamed to the other elders. The ritual, quickly! But the Luminoth was done being contained. A pulse of energy radiated outward, sending the elders flying against the walls. The red tendrils throughout the monastery flickered and began to dissolve. Syria felt a strange connection to the entity. Through her bionic eyes, she could see patterns in its light that seemed almost like language. It's not evil, she realized aloud. They've been torturing it, using its energy to control others. The chamber doors burst open as confused monks began to wake from their mental imprisonment. Brother Tarn stumbled in, his eyes clear for the first time. What's happening? He asked, staring in awe at the luminous being. Freedom, Syria answered. The Luminoth expanded, filling the chamber with gentle light. As it touched each person, Syria could see the red energy dissolving from their bodies, replaced by a soft golden glow. When it reached Syria, she gasped as images flooded her mind. The Luminoth's history, its journey across stars, its accidental discovery by the elders centuries ago. It had never meant harm. It was a being of knowledge and light, trapped and exploited. It wants to leave, she told Alex, gripping his hand. But it's weak from centuries of captivity. Alex's face set with determination. My ship. The power cells could give it enough energy to break orbit. The monastery began to shake as the Luminoth's uncontrolled energy destabilized the structure. Chunks of ceiling crashed down around them. Everyone out! Alex shouted to the confused monks. The building is collapsing! Syria turned to the Luminoth, communicating through thoughts and the strange connection formed by her bionic eyes. We'll help you escape. Follow us. They led the bewildered monks through crumbling corridors, the Luminoth floating above them like a protective guardian. Elder Krell and the other elders had disappeared in the chaos. Outside, the twin asteroids that housed the monastery had begun to drift apart, their artificial gravity failing. Alex's ship sat on a landing pad, seemingly untouched by the destruction. I thought your ship was damaged, Syria said as they approached. Alex gave her a sheepish grin. I may have exaggerated. I picked up strange energy readings from this place. Came to investigate. You lied to me, she raised an eyebrow. I prefer strategic omission of facts, he replied, punching in the access code. Besides, it led me to you. As the monks huddled together on the asteroid's surface, Alex and Syria worked quickly to modify the ship's power systems. The Luminoth hovered nearby, its light dimming as its energy waned. Power cells are disconnected, Alex announced. If it can absorb this energy, it should be enough to get it into space. Syria turned to the entity, communicating their plan. The Luminoth pulsed in acknowledgement, extending a tendril toward the exposed power core. As energy flowed into the being, its light grew brighter, more stable. Syria felt its gratitude washing over her in waves. Look! Brother Tarn pointed to the sky. A small shuttle was approaching. Elder Krell and the remaining elders attempting to escape. They'll warn others, Syria realized. They'll hunt the Luminoth, and us. The Luminoth, now restored to full strength, extended a tendril toward the shuttle. The vessel froze mid-flight, suspended in space. Through her connection, Syria understood its intention. It wants to show them the truth, to heal them as it healed the monks. The shuttle was gently pulled back to the asteroid's surface. The elders emerged, their faces no longer twisted with malice but confused, like waking from a long nightmare. The crystal corrupted them, Syria explained to Alex. The Luminoth's prison warped its energy, poisoned their minds over generations. As the last of the power transferred, the Luminoth's form stabilized into a radiant, star-like shape. It hovered before Syria and Alex, pulsing with gratitude. It wants to thank you, Syria translated, feeling its thoughts. Especially you, Alex. Your human technology freed it twice. First through my eyes, then through your ship. Alex smiled, squeezing her hand. Humanity's good for something after all. The Luminoth rose higher, preparing to depart. But before it left, it extended one final tendril, touching Syria's abdomen gently. A warm sensation spread through her body, and through her bionic eyes, Syria saw something impossible. New energy patterns forming where there had been only scar tissue. What did it do? Alex asked, noticing her stunned expression. Syria placed a hand over her womb, tears filling her eyes. It healed me. Not completely, but it says there's a chance now. A small one. Alex pulled her close, his lips finding hers in a kiss that promised a future neither had dared imagine. Above them, the Luminoth ascended into the stars, a beacon of light against the darkness of space. As they broke apart, Syria looked around at the monks, confused but free, and the elders, cleansed of their corruption. The monastery was in ruins, but its inhabitants were saved. What now? She asked softly. Alex grinned, gesturing to his ship. I hear the Centauri colonies are nice this time of year. They could use someone with your unique perspective and your very special eyes. Syria smiled, the blue glow of her bionic eyes reflecting her hope for the future. I've always wanted to see Earth's oceans. As they prepared the ship for departure, Syria knew their journey was just beginning. The prophecy had been fulfilled, but not as the elders had feared. Her star-like eyes hadn't brought destruction, but liberation. For the Luminoth, for the monks, and finally for herself. 2 years after escaping the monastery, Syria stood on the balcony of their home on Luminara, watching twin suns set over an iridescent ocean. The planet, named after the being that had led them here, was everything the Luminoth had promised, a sanctuary hidden from galactic charts, where entities of light lived in harmony with a small community of outcasts and refugees. Her bionic eyes, upgraded twice by Alex since their escape, captured the sunset in spectrums no natural vision could perceive. Energy patterns danced across the water's surface, a symphony of light visible only to her. Beautiful, isn't it? Alex's arms encircled her from behind, his lips brushing her neck. Syria leaned into his embrace. Every sunset here is different. The light beings dance differently each time. Speaking of dancing, Alex turned her in his arms. Mola finally fell asleep. We have the evening to ourselves. Syria smiled, remembering the day they'd found Mola, a tiny Azuri child hiding in the monastery ruins as they prepared to leave. The girl, no more than 4 years old, had been brought to the monastery as an offering to the elders. In the chaos of the Luminoth's escape, she'd been forgotten. I should check on her, Syria said. She had nightmares again last night. Alex nodded, understanding. The mind healers say she's making progress. The memories of the monastery are fading. They moved quietly into the child's room. Mola slept peacefully, her blue skin almost purple in the fading light. Silver hair splayed across her pillow. Syria adjusted the blanket, her heart swelling with love for this unexpected daughter the universe had given them. She called me Mama today, Syria whispered as they slipped out. For the first time. Alex squeezed her hand. You are her mother in every way that matters. Back in their bedroom, Syria caught her reflection in the mirror. So different from the broken woman who had spent 15 years in darkness. Her silver hair had grown longer, her blue skin had regained its luster, and her bionic eyes glowed with a soft blue light that complemented her natural features. What are you thinking about? Alex asked, coming up behind her. How much has changed, she replied. 2 years ago, I believed I deserved punishment, that I was sinful, broken, unworthy of love. Alex turned her to face him. And now? Now I know the only sin was believing them. She traced the tattoos on his chest, symbols of battles fought and survived. You taught me that. Their lips met in a kiss that still held the same electricity as their first. 2 years of building a life together had only deepened their connection. What had begun as forbidden attraction in a monastery storeroom had blossomed into a partnership neither had imagined possible. "I have something to show you," Syria said when they finally broke apart. She took his hand and placed it on her abdomen. "The doctors confirmed it yesterday." Alex's eyes widened. "You're pregnant." Syria's voice trembled with emotion. "The Luminoth's healing, combined with the regenerative treatments here, the doctors say it's a miracle, but..." Alex lifted her off her feet, spinning her in a circle of joy before carefully setting her down. "A miracle indeed," he whispered, eyes glistening. "They say there are risks," Syria cautioned. "My body wasn't fully healed and..." "Hey," Alex cupped her face. "Whatever happens, we face it together. We've overcome worse odds." Later, as they lay entwined in each other's arms, Syria marveled at how completely her life had transformed. From a monastery cell to a home by the sea, from blindness to vision beyond ordinary sight, from barrenness to the promise of new life growing within her. "The Luminoth Council wants us to visit the northern continent next month," Alex said, tracing patterns on her bare shoulder. "They've detected energy signatures similar to what you found on Proxima 4. Syria nodded. In the 2 years since their arrival, she had become the Luminoth's most valuable ally. Her enhanced vision could identify imprisoned light beings that others couldn't detect. Together with Alex, she had already freed 3 such entities from exploitation by various species across nearby systems. "Another rescue mission?" she asked. "They think so, but they won't risk sending you if it's dangerous for the baby." Syria smiled. "Always the protective human." "That's me. Humanity's finest instincts at your service." His grin was playful, but his eyes held genuine devotion. "You know what I love most about humans?" Syria asked, running her fingers through his hair. "Our dashing good looks, superior engineering skills, unmatched prowess in..." She silenced him with a kiss. "Your capacity for hope. Even in the darkest places, you find light." Alex grew serious. "Is that what I did for you?" "You gave me back more than my sight, Alex. You gave me a future when I thought mine was over." A soft cry from Mola's room interrupted them. Syria rose, wrapping herself in a robe. "I'll go," Alex offered. "No, let me." Syria smiled. "I want to look at her with these eyes that can truly see." In Mola's room, the child was sitting up, tears on her cheeks. "Bad dreams, Mama," she whispered. Syria gathered her close. "Look outside, little one. See the lights dancing on the water?" Through the window, luminescent beings skimmed across the ocean's surface, leaving trails of multicolored light. Mola's tears stopped as she watched in wonder. "The light beings are dancing for you," Syria told her. "They're celebrating." "Celebrating what?" Syria placed Mola's small hand on her abdomen. "You're going to have a little brother or sister soon." Mola's eyes widened. "Really? When?" "Not for many months yet, but they already know. The light beings can see things we can't." As Mola drifted back to sleep, comforted by the dancing lights, Syria felt a profound sense of completion. The family she'd been denied, that she'd been physically prevented from having, was now forming around her, defying the cruelty that had once defined her existence. When she returned to their bedroom, Alex was standing on the balcony, looking up at the stars. "Everything okay?" he asked as she joined him. "Perfect," she replied. "I told Mola about the baby." "She's excited." Alex wrapped an arm around her shoulders. "I was thinking, after this baby comes, maybe we could take in more children. There are so many orphans from the border conflicts." Syria leaned against him, her heart full. "I'd like that. A house full of children from different worlds. A family forged from brokenness," Alex mused. "Like your eyes, made from scraps but seeing more clearly than the original ever could." Syria looked up at the night sky, where somewhere among the stars, the Luminoth that had freed her was continuing its journey. Her enhanced vision could see energy trails left by its passage, a roadmap of liberation across the galaxy. "You know," she said softly, "in all the ancient texts of my people, there's a saying, 'What is broken may become whole, but never the same.'" "Is that a bad thing?" Alex asked. Syria shook her head, her bionic eyes glowing in the darkness. "No. Sometimes what emerges from brokenness is stronger, more beautiful than what existed before. She placed his hand over her womb, where new life grew against all odds. Like us. Like this family we're building. As they stood together under the stars, Syria knew her journey had come full circle. The punishment meant to end her life had instead transformed it. The blindness meant to limit her had given her vision beyond imagination. The mutilation meant to prevent motherhood had led her to a family more diverse and loving than tradition would have allowed. And it had all begun with a human who saw not a broken, sinful creature, but a woman worthy of sight, worthy of love, worthy of a future bright with possibility.